Hi, Dickens Reads families. It is Wednesday and time for book club. Last week we started reading Little Libraries, Big Heroes by Miranda Paul and illustrated by John Para. And we learned about Todd, who decided to create little free libraries in honor of his mother, who was a reading teacher. He took the idea to his friend Rick, and they decided to build little free libraries that can be shared with others. However, they had built about 30 libraries, and only one person came to buy one, and so they were a little stumped about what to do next. So let's see what happened. This is where we left off. The team's spirit withered as they waited. Books are filled with great ideas, they knew, but those ideas could only spread if people actually read them. So Todd and Rick decided that if people wouldn't come get the libraries, they'll bring the libraries to the people. Out they went with 30 tiny libraries, planting them like seeds between Madison, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Just like at the rummage sale, folks gathered around. Curiosity lured readers to the little boxes. They borrowed and shared books. Friends and neighbors talked with other friends and neighbors who talked with more friends and neighbors about the books they had read and where they had gotten them. It was working. The seeds of Todd and Rick's idea were beginning to grow. A radio interview spread the word about the little free libraries all around Wisconsin. Then a national TV show featured their idea. The whole country seemed to be buzzing about the tiny, anything but ordinary libraries. Over the next year, 400 little free libraries sprang up across the United States. Each library needed a caretaker called a steward. Stewards were ordinary citizens. Some were even kids. Many of them wouldn't stay ordinary, though. They became community heroes. After Hurricane Katrina devastated her hometown of New Orleans, a 6-year-old girl named Nikki collected 2,000 books. She gave a box of books to every little free library in the city. Then she wrote a letter to Todd and Rick's organization asking for a little free library of her own, and she got one. Nikki tucked some of her favorite books inside, and people have been checking out stories from it ever since. In El Paso, near the U.S. Mexico border, reading programs were short on money. A librarian named Miss Lopez placed the first little free library in Texas at an elementary school there. With her students' help, the idea spread to more than 50 locations around the city. Soon, families had more access to books in English and Spanish. In western Uganda, volunteers set up a primary school and a little free library within a refugee camp. The women, men, and children who lived there had escaped great violence and had been forced to leave most of their possessions behind. Some of them learned to read from magazines and picture books they found inside the tiny library. As the library spread around the world, more tales of ordinary heroes emerged. From within a Wisconsin prison, along a hiking trail in Canada, in cities across Brazil, stewards placed little free libraries at a hospital in Ireland, on a street corner in Pakistan, outside a house in South Korea, and near a schoolyard in South Sudan. Today, thousands of ordinary and creative heroes are bringing millions of books to their friends and neighbors. Today, those friends and neighbors will share them with other friends and neighbors. Today, books will be loved, big ideas will spark. And tomorrow, who knows? Tomorrow might bring another hero story written by you and shared with the whole wide book loving world. So there we have it, the story of how Little Free Libraries came to be. And if you did not know, the steward of the Little Free Library in front of Charles Dickens is Captain Keith Saucer. So I hope that you are checking the books out from the Little Free Library that is right outside of Charles Dickens School. Until next Wednesday, keep reading.